And we are back again. It's Frankly Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon. Got my man with me and a special guest. Please introduce yourself, gentlemen.
Hey man, I'm setting it off, Chris. I'm always here with you, man. Ready to get this thing cracking, man. We got out here on the internet and found the great Nick Herrera. Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself,
Hello,
man.
everybody. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
What's
So we were talking today about and I mean immediately prior to me pushing play about need priorities when it comes to the draft. Um, I think it is unanimous that cornerback might be the most pressing need, especially in the first round.
I don't
Um,
think it's go ahead, finish, G.
um, because I think it's great that Trevon Diggs was able to improve himself while being picked on all year about a ton of elite receivers, including the best in the league and Nook Hopkins, in my opinion. Um, but you gotta give him a guy on the other side to to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you turn around and get going into the draft. We were looking at 17. Felt like last year getting Diggs at 17 would be like a consolation prize. We knew he was good. We just didn't want to get him at 17. But
Of
getting him in
course.
the second round made it great. And so you turn around and you get, for your first assignment, hey, I'm gonna give you Robert Woods and Cooper Cup, two technical route running monsters. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn around and put Quintaris on you because I'm not disrespectful like a lot of people out in these streets calling that man by his hood name, Quintaris Jones, aka Julio, and Calvin Ridley. I'm gonna give you that to deal with. Then I'm gonna go give you the biggest upside guy who made the biggest jump from what he was as a rookie to his second year, DK
Hmm.
Metcalf. You go chase him around, right? All right, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and let you chase Odell Beckham with his gifted behind, right? Oh man, Diggs
Hmm.
Diggs went through a gauntlet starting out, and so him coming and breaking his foot and then coming back, that that's the part right there. Honestly, that's the difference. I think that's the difference with him, um, because I was kind of on the mindset. Okay, he hurt his foot. He's a cornerback. His feet are important. He had the same problem when he was at Alabama. And I remember the last time we rushed the guy back from his feet with Des Bryant. I didn't want to see him back. Kid's back. He's back playing, and he's back out there fighting. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think Diggs is a great asset to them. He's right now. I think he's our best corner in our secondary.
But going back to the draft, outside of Diggs, who do we have out there? I think that's why I think cornerback's the biggest need because right now you have one guy that you're comfortable being the starter, and then nothing else. You have number
Question
three
mark.
cornerbacks playing two quarterbacks playing the three. You're kind of pushing everyone up the depth chart just because of lack of talent. So if I can get a corner, that's what I want. You're
Well,
going to
I
need to
mean,
find a free agency as well, anyways.
yeah. Well, what I really want is I want a wreaking havoc, volcano spitting, fire breathing dragon as a defensive tackle. But all those guys came and went last year. The Kinlaws, the Browns, they went last year. So since this year, what I need, I don't have I don't have a guy who's that, just transcendent or not transcendent. I'm not transcendent. I hate when people use trans because everybody's a transcendent talent. I don't have a super bona fide first round defensive tackle. Then yeah, cornerback is my number one
And
priority.
I think it makes more sense to tackle the defensive tackle position in free agency, anyways, because
Mm.
you don't have that top end talent, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of guys on the streets with the salary cap being flat
Ah,
or even down a little bit. There's gonna be
mm.
a lot of cuts of veteran players, and that's what we need this team. We need some veteran players. We need some veteran dudes that play those rough positions that are willing to put their nose in the freaking hole and plug some gaps. So
Okay,
um,
okay.
And
I
it's
think D
it's sad
tackle.
because
Oh, go ahead.
they tried to address that position this year. They
Kind of,
really did. It just didn't
kind of.
work out. But I also really feel good about the guys that we're gonna have inside coming up next year.
Sure.
I
But they
really
both
feel good
play
about
more
Tristan Hill coming back.
technique. They both play kind of more of the three technique, so they're a little bit faster up the field. We still need that plug the hole guy. We had a guy who could play both in McCoy, but when I said they kind of addressed it. I mean, they
Mm,
didn't address it enough, and they weren't confident enough to give him just a straight up contract. They had injury clauses in there, so there were definitely question marks going into next season. It was, again, another example of them kind of bargain shopping for talent. Hey, this guy is wanting one more contract closer to home. He's been injured a lot. Hey, this will be your stop. And they knew there was a question mark. That's why they had the clause in there, and it just so happened to have it. And then the other guy brought in is a guy who's struggling in the weight, to where they also weren't confident enough in him to where they had a weight clause. So it's like these two guys that they didn't fully invest in, that they brought in, that had big names, that sounded better than the undrafted free agents we've been playing for the last 10 years. But they really weren't much different. They were a little bit more experienced, and other than that, they were the same. So
they had more. They had a name.
Bring in a guy and actually, hey, I'm going to invest 3 years in him. And they tried it with that guy from Philadelphia a couple of years back, Cedric Thornton, who was terrible. But like, I feel like they've been jaded ever since to give a guy a 2 or 3 year contract of a mid-level guy. That was bad. That was systems. It just did not translate. It is what it is.
That's a good pull on. I forgot about old Cedric Thornton. It was absolutely god awful. You're right. They have
seems like so long ago,
right?
Yeah, but they went and got him, and he was supposed to be paired inside and in the middle to be able to be that guy, and he turned out to be just not that guy. So you're right. You're right.
Now, one thing that I saw that was interesting, this past week even, they had Alden Smith playing inside a little, in the goal line. So, and also in the past, Randy Gregory has played inside, but they're once again going to fill more of those 3-tech roles in those packages. So yeah, having a big trash can full of dirt type of guy, a space eater, is one thing that they're going to have to address, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. There are some guys in the draft. I don't want to put his name out there because I don't want anybody to snipe him. But there are options out there. And yeah, I think that the either stagnant or reduced salary cap is going to mean that some guys are going to be brought in on bargains. I just hope that we can snipe one of those guys. The one round where I think that it's this position or bust is the second round, because Nick Bolton is going to be there. Huge Nick Bolton fan. And Chris, you have special thoughts about him based on the players currently on our roster. You want to flesh that out a little bit?
I think the problem with your linebacking core has always been you've tried to play guys out of position. You got 5 linebackers on this football team that I've looked at. You looked at Sean Lee, who has been an incredible leader and talent, but often injured. Okay, you have Leighton Vander Esch, who has now kind of got the injury bug because he has not been able since his rookie year to be able to finish the season for me. He's hurt again now with a high ankle sprain, and you're going to shut him down. The often criticized swiping, sunglass wearing linebacker, which is Jayla Smith, consistently out of position. He's, it's gotten so bad with Jaylen. Tony Casilla put a tweet out this week saying he's the best 10-yard tackling linebacker in football. Now that's cold-blooded. But then you also have Joe Thomas, who I think is a guy. I think he's a guy. And then the guy who I wanted to see was Luke Gifford. And Luke Gifford's, back out on PE. So I need to solidify my linebacking core. Nick Bolton right now is the name because he gives me the best floor for what I'm looking for. And so what I mean by floor, where Nick Bolton starts at right now, at this day, he's the best middle linebacker for my situation. I think he's the best middle linebacker floor right now.
100%.
The greatest ceiling potential is Michael Parsons out of Penn State. So what I think we've been doing for years is we've been getting guys on potential. Jayla Smith, if he gets healthy, he has this kind of potential. Even though Miles Jack is sitting right behind him, and Miles Jack is probably one of the best linebackers to come out in the draft.
You've been reopening old wounds tonight, Chris.
Hey man, I'm cutting. I'm surgical with it tonight. But you turn around, you give me Miles Jack. I ain't even worried about this linebacker thing. I'm fixed. So if you give me Nick Bolton, he's my day one starter for middle linebacker. Then I can pair him with Jaylen. because I think Jaylen needs to be saying, hey, go do one thing. Jaylen is the kind of football player to me, he don't need to think. He just needs to be told to go do this. Because when he has to think on the fly like that, he becomes a problem. The other problem that turns around because he can't think like that, his contract's too big. So somebody's going to pull him to the side and say, hey, can I go ahead and get a little bit of that money back from you at the end of the year? Okay? I can't feel comfortable giving Leighton Vander Esch a lot of money because I know right now I'm not going to get 16 out of Leighton. So if I can get Nick Bolton, I'm good. And that's what I feel like in the second round, I got to go get him.
I mean, honestly, like the sooner I can get out of Jalen's contract, and then I'm 100% not going to pay Leighton Vander Esch
at all.
They're like kind of like the running back position, to where they just get used, abused, and then you kind of get kicked to the curb. Like keep drafting guys, keep bringing in talent, but I don't need to invest heavily in the position financially. So
right,
Nick Bolton's there, hell yeah, that's awesome. Take him. I honestly don't. I haven't looked that much into the linebacker position. But we need a guy who's a football player, not an athlete, not looking for potential, a football player. And from Bolton, the dude knows how to play football. He recognizes plays immediately and then compared to I saw the wrong thing, and now the play's 10 yards in the opposite direction. And that's what we're getting now.
And that's the thing that I think Nick Bolton does well. He's not the fastest guy.
Nope.
He thinks one step ahead and puts himself in position before he actually needs to be there. That is how he succeeds. And he is what we need, a true middle linebacker. Chris, you touched on it. We got 3 Wills on our team right now.
That's it. 3 Wills.
And Nick Bolton would instantly improve our linebacker core.
I'll be totally honest with you. If you could sign Nick Bolton and then just put Leighton at the wheel so he's not dealing with trash, because coming out of school out of Boise, if y'all remember, he didn't like dealing with the trash. So if you put him at will where he can just go run and make plays like that, and then you can move Jaylen straight over to Sam where he can just sit back and rush the passer.
Yeah.
I think you can stay in base more often and really get the most out of those guys out of their contract.
Yep.
He would be a highly paid Sam linebacker, but I would keep Jaylen on here for being a $9 million for Sam. No, that's a lot of money.
That's
okay. I can keep him. Yeah, I can keep him. Yeah, I can keep him till there's not a lot of dead money. I can keep him till the salary cap goes back up. Then I can cut him. But if I can be able to do that, I can stay in base. And that would help me out by leaps and bounds.
So this is something that a lot of Cowboys fans are passionate about, myself included, because this is the position that I've been researching the most. What do y'all think about the need at safety?
That's a huge need. You still need 2 guys, I think.
2? Really?
Yep.
Are you not sold at Donovan?
No, I am. I still think you need 3 total to have a good.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, he's right. I need 2. I've already got 1. Donovan Wilson can be my strong safety. I think he's 100% a strong safety. He plays everything better in front of him. He doesn't deal with stuff that's over his head well. So I like him at my strong safety position. When I come to my free safety, I don't have a free safety on this team that I like at all.
You got cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, and I don't even want to move Chidobe back to. I don't want to move Chidobe back to free safety on a reduced deal, because that's not what he's played. He's played cornerback in this league. That's what he is. So let me go get a guy in the draft that's my rangy, hash to hash, sideline to sideline, ball instinct guy. Except for the guy you about to tell me who you're enamored with. He's just little, and I don't think little free safeties make it in this league.
Specifically not in Dallas either. They won't even look at him, which is unfortunate.
They won't look at him. They had a chance to get, and I'm going to just say it, the great Tyrann Mathieu for dirt cheap money. He was just trying to show you he could play again. He went to the Texans for dang near nothing.
It was like a 1 year, couple $1 million, right?
1 year deal. Yeah, 1 year, and I think like $3.5 million.
$3.5 million. Yeah, you could have brought him in. he was willing to just revitalize his career. The same thing they did with Alden Smith. They said, nah, we don't want you. Now he comes back, and he's been a stalwart with Kansas City, and he's been the guy who he's always been because he said he's little. The one thing you can't say about Tyrann Mathieu, that dude's a football player. And so
Absolutely.
the guy who you're loving is who now?
Darius Washington, safety for TCU. He kind of has a similar situation, itty bitty, 5'8" on a good day. But the dude is all over the field. I think that he's the best effort guy. But does this new coaching staff value safety? That's a question that remains to be seen.
Or is it do they just not oppose safety? Because I know when McCarthy was in Green Bay, they drafted.
There you go, Nick. He
didn't really do much in the draft, but he also wasn't against drafting safety and D tackle, which, when it sounds like Jason Garrett and Rod Marinelli, they just didn't value the positions like at all.
Yeah,
has that mentality changed to where you don't have those blocks? Maybe. I will say though, just judging by this last draft and the undrafted free agents they brought in, they still value size. So a lot of the cornerbacks are all like 6'1", 6'2". The safeties are all like 6 foot. So you still might have that, but I think they're more willing to address the safety position. I also kind of more optimistic about it, so we'll see.
I did have a contingency plan because when I first started researching safeties, I told Chris that, my guy's itty bitty, but I do know a guy that they will go after. He's my safety 4, Hamza Nasiruddin.
Oh yeah, out of Florida State.
Huge guy, but has played literally everywhere on the second and third levels of the defense. He's like 6'4", 240 or something like that. Big guy, big boy. But I see him as more of a strong, and I think that as he continues to put on weight, he'll be a linebacker in the league. But he is one of those guys that, in like the late second, even third round, could be there. So at safety, I do think there's a lot of options, especially, sizey guys. But I think I really do hope that they address that need, because it's something that's been, a thorn in fans' side for a long time.
Well, here's one, because I've been in my bag for trying to figure out creative ways to get people. So let's say you turn around and you get Nick Bolton in the second. You got 2/3, right? Right, as of right now, you got 2/3. Would you look at trading one of your thirds to a team for a free safety they have, because they have an abundance of number of free safeties? Because the Rams have an abundant. They just went and got a guy this year in the draft to play free safety, and Taylor Rapp is sitting there. Would you be willing to give up? Would you be willing to give up, Nick? I'm asking. I know I got Brandon's wheels turned. Would you be willing to give up your comp third? I mean, it's a comp pick. Yeah, my comp third or my comp fourth to go get Taylor Rapp on his rookie deal, on his third year of his rookie deal.
I'd be tempted into it.
Right, because you got a guy who's already in the league. He already knows how to play the game. I can pair him with Donovan Wilson. He's rangy guy. He's a willing tackler.
If I remember his question mark, right? Does he not super rangy though?
I mean, he's not the biggest guy. He's like 6 foot even.
I mean, I don't think it was that much a difference between him and Thornhill coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Thornhill's not even starting in KC anymore, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder if that's because Honey Badger's doing so good. Along with
I think Sorensen has like 4 picks on the year, and he's done really well.
Also, Thornhill got hurt. You remember Thornhill did get hurt.
Yeah.
So we got to also remember, for guys who were rookies last year coming into this year, they didn't get an off season. So they were a rookie.
Very good point.
COVID comes up, they don't get a full off season. And that off season in the weight room, in the film room is vital. So what they played off their rookie year, they didn't get that off season. And so he's probably the reason he isn't playing, and I can probably think the same thing with Taylor Rapp. reason they haven't jumped up is because they plateau on what they know. And so give them another full off season, they may get that bump up. So if that's the case, I'd definitely be willing to give up a third for him because I know he's still got a whole lot of upside.
Do you think that he's better than someone else that you can get in the draft at that particular spot, though?
Oh, right now?
Yeah, Taylor Rapp.
Absolutely. Because he knows how to prepare as an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? My rookie, okay, the guy I'm thinking about taking in the first round, he opted out. He hasn't played football in the full year. Okay, I got a Division I athlete in my house that I got to kick his butt every day just to go to training. So I know what it's like for a guy who's a Division I athlete and hasn't banged bodies for an entire year at that level. Okay, so now he's gonna try to go from not playing for an entire year, go compete in the combine, and then go play NFL ball. Sometimes you got to take snaps to get better at football. That's one thing about football. You got to take better snaps. So I think Farley's going to be okay, but I still think him playing this year would have benefited him. I think Taylor Rapp having a full off season and be able to get in, and if I can get him for a third round, that's a bargain.
Well, now, I think maybe attacking a free agent instead of trading a pick, because there might be some big names that would be willing to take a chance on.
Give me a name you think you got.
Here's one that could be interesting of a talent that might be better than what you might have to pay for. A Malik Hooker.
Ooh, listen, man. If Malik is past his injury bug, if you can get Malik, now you know what? What if you brought Malik in on a 3-year deal? Give him a little bit of bread up front. You're gonna have some injury issues with him. Still draft another guy. Maybe like you said, Brandon. You go get your number 4 safety because you still got on the roster. You got the Robinson kid who you're talking about making him a safety. You get your kid from Florida State because he's a 4 and he's 6'4", 240, so he can go play strong. But if you can go get Malik Hooker and get him past his injury bug, oh man, you talking about a combo.
Here's the thing though. Dak Prescott's agent, Todd France, has one guy who I think is going to be the best free agent safety coming up. Going to be a little outside your range though, outside your price range. How y'all feel about Justin Simmons?
We ain't got that kind of bread, man. We ain't got that kind of bread, man.
But here's the thing: if you're looking at free agent safeties, he's the best free safety out there.
Yeah, but he's trying to get paid. He's trying to get paid.
If I'm breaking the bank on a player in free agency, I think it's going to be at the D tackle position still. Because I think the D tackle position not only helps the D line stop the run, helps the pass rush, helps cover up, even if you don't get a Nick Bolton, helps cover up some of the issues with linebacker and helps your secondary. So I don't think I'm going to go reverse action and invest heavily in the safety with the question marks at the other positions. That's just kind of always been my philosophy.
Okay, I got you. So you're saying going from front to back. Let me stop the run first. If I can stop the run first, I can get my linebackers cleaner, and there's less time for my secondary having to cover. I give you if you're gonna go in free
agency. Yeah. Anything else, as long as I'm not bargain shopping, like give me a starting level safety, give me a starting level corner. Don't get me Daryl Worley. Don't give me
God no.
Guys those guys are guys that no one else wants. You know, they're the emergency call. Hey, I need somebody because I have no one else. Everyone else got hurt. Can you play tomorrow? Those are those type of guys.
Right. Okay.
You can't sign those.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel more comfortable about defensive tackle in the draft or in free agency? Because as far as one techs go, you got probably the best one tech in the draft in Marvin Wilson, who people may be sleeping on him a little bit because he can get hurt on you. So would you rather invest in someone like that or go in free agency?
The answer is yes. I'll do both. So I'm a big fan of Antoine Woods as the person. Like, I think he's a gritty player, but I also don't think he's the future of the position. I think he doesn't prevent me from upgrading on one, basically one tech 1 and one tech 2. I'll upgrade both of those. I'm completely fine with that. So if I have some guy fall into my lap that wants to come to Dallas, I'll pay him. And then if I have one that falls in my lap in the draft, I'll definitely draft him too. Now I have that position fixed.
Yeah, so, I'm with you. I'm with you all day with that. If I can go get a guy, a young guy, get him in for decent money. He's my number one starter. I can continue to groom Neville. Tristan can get fully healthy. Then I can, and if I can go get a Marvin Wilson in the second or third round, then I solidify my inside all day long because I got nothing with youth, money, and speed. Yeah, that's 4 guys. On the 4 guys, yeah, and then I can rock with those guys. Then that helps me with my edge guys because if Alden Smith doesn't come back, okay, then I can play Bradley and now, like you were saying, because Bradley and I is a speed guy, right? I'll be able to bring Dorrance Armstrong back for dirt cheap because I can trust Dorrance Armstrong as a left defensive end. I know for a fact he's not going to be my right defensive end, and he's a hustle guy, and he wants to fight. So you know what? You're absolutely right. I would go D tackle, draft a D tackle, and if I can go get a 1-year deal on a free safety like a Malik Hooker, if he can stay healthy, then we'll be able to deal with that. Because at that time, I'll have some guys I can get rid of, Jalen. I'll have some guys I'll have the salary cap go back up. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I won't have to be playing Travis Frederick because his contract, his money will be off the books.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what, Nick? I'm with you on that. Doggone, I didn't think of it that way until just now.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned someone on the other side of the ball. How important is drafting a tackle for y'all?
Not overly important, if I'm being honest. I think one of Dak's biggest traits that he's been able to improve on over the last probably year and a half is being able to cover up poor O-line play, just because he is seeing the field so much better than he was before.
Yes.
I think you can't miss your number 1 tackle, your number 2 tackle, and your number 3 tackle. Again.
You can't.
Right. What? Wait a minute. You can't play without your first, second, or third best tackle? Of course you can.
But like if a tackle falls into my lap, I'll take one. But I don't think it's a quote unquote need as a super high priority, I say in the first or second round. I don't need to take one. I'm banking on Tyron Smith coming back and playing, we'll say being pessimistic, we'll say half the season.
Okay. No. Nick, I'm gonna push back on you. Tyron's gonna give me 12 games.
Oh, that's being super pessimistic.
Yeah.
Like I think he'll 12, 13 like he always does. But
right.
In this scenario, like I'm comfortable with Brandon Knight coming in and playing 6 games. Or however many you want. I'm comfortable with that. He's done good. You just can't have Brandon Knight and Steele out there, or Brandon Knight and actually Sam Irving has been okay. You can't have both those guys out there. If you give Collins at least on one side, or Tyron Smith at least on one side, you could be serviceable.
Gotcha.
Now,
I got you.
I'm one of those guys that thinks that you should draft at least one offensive lineman every single year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You need a constant influx of talent. And having another guy out there. Chris, you're a huge fan of Rashawn Slater. I'm a big fan of Alex Leatherwood. You can it's a lot of good mid-level tackles coming into this draft. Penei Sewell just so happens to be so much better than everyone else. I think that's just the thing. It can be debated that Slater belongs up there. Honestly, I think that Slater belongs up there.
I think Penei is the guy we saw first. I think Penei and Slater are 1A, 1B. It depends on what you want.
Slater just made Chase Young look like a little boy. That's what is so impressive.
I think it goes back to the floor and the ceiling thing. Slater's got the best floor. Sewell's got the best ceiling.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's a lot of guys that you can look for in the 3rd, 4th round. It begins to wane off a little bit after that. But I think it's a lot of those mid-level guys that you could take a look at. Those, I would say, 3rd through 8th ranked tackles. I'd be like, oh, that's a good pick if we take them. But yeah, if we have either Tyron or Lyle, I agree with you, Nick. I think that we'll be okay with Brandon Knight slotted in.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is any situation where we have Terrence Steele in the game where I'm comfortable.
Hey, no. I'm gonna throw this on the table to see what you think about what you guys think about this. So I'm with you with Tyron and with Lyle. Perfect guys. My thing is, come next year, I gotta find out what I have at left guard with Connor McGovern, because he's shown me he's NFL caliber. I already know, and I still don't understand why these pictures of Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones keep floating around that went from Terrence to Joe Looney, that my boy Tyler Biotis can't get on the field, because Tyler Biotis is my center of the future.
Absolutely.
Now here's my one question, because I'm already sizing him up for his gold jacket. So when El Presidente, aka Zach Martin, decides to figure, okay, I'm getting beat up a little bit. I've proven I'm the best. I'm Hall of Fame caliber. Do I go get another guard this year to groom? I'm talking about a 5th, or maybe a 4th, 5th rounder, a guy to start grooming, because I can then take my left guard, start grooming him to be my next left tackle.
I love it.
Can I do that? Right? Or can I flip my left guard? I know this is big time. Take my left guard, start grooming him to play right tackle, and take my right tackle and make him my left tackle.
Now, see, these are going to be some of those.
Huh? You're talking about left guard. You're talking about Connor Williams moving out.
I'm thinking about taking Connor Williams, groom him to be my swing. Connor McGovern plays left guard next year. So I walk out next year, Tyron, Connor McGovern, Tyler Biotis, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. I work with Connor Williams. I keep him I keep him at home. He wants to play in Dallas. He's right there from the area. I give him a minimal deal. I don't give him a great deal. I know he can play in the NFL, but when I'm promising him, he's going to be my next right tackle, because I've already paid Lyle. I can swing Lyle, because I think Tyron Smith, football-wise, my bad, he's got 2 more years to play at this level before the money's an issue. And then I can turn around and make Lyle my left tackle, make Connor Williams my right tackle, and run with that offensive line.
Okay.
Will the money not really be an issue? Because both those guys are kind of a steal right now if you look at how much they're getting paid.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think that Lyle's contract is a steal.
David Bakhtiari from Green Bay is making basically double what those guys are making.
Okay. So
kind of incredible.
That is going to have to be one of those to be continued questions, because I do not pay for Zoom. So if you haven't already, click the like, subscribe if you haven't. Shame on you if you're not. Follow us on Twitter at Frankly Football. The last L is a 1. Nick, plug yourself right quick, brother.
Nick_Herrera 34.
That's right. I'm Brandon. That set it off, Chris. This has been Frankly Football. Peace.